Okay guys, this is Hoc Histories. I'm Cody, your teacher, and we have a nutshell episode. We're going to try to tackle the Great Leap Forward in the shortest amount of time. So hit that subscription button, get ready to comment, watch out for the squirrels, and let's go. Okay, it's the late 1950s, early 1960s, really 58 to 61 or 62, depending on who you ask. The Great Leap Forward is in China, and in terms of people, let's just keep it simple and talk about Mao Zedong, whose official title is the chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, and whose unofficial title is the guy who scares the living piss out of everyone else. I just felt a chill run down my spine. Is he behind me? He's behind me, right? Now let's go to four key terms. Marxist state. So China's a Marxist state. Its goal is to create a classless, stateless society, and that includes having a dictatorship at the center to make sure this happens. Command economy. Okay, that's when the entire economy is controlled by a central power. 5-year plans. Okay, command economy plans to modernize nations. The Great Leap Forward is a 5-year plan. Collectivization, that's when all the farms and farmers are forced into one giant farm. Okay, so it's 1958 and Mao has a couple of problems bugging him. One, China is too dependent on their Marxist buddies to the north, the Soviet Union, and he thinks they're getting too soft on capitalism. He's also worried about defending himself against his enemy, the United States. So he wants to industrialize the country to make it competitive. But before he can do that, he needs to mechanize agriculture, because that will free up labor to work in the factories. Sounds like a plan, right? Yeah, a 5-year plan. The Great Leap Forward. Now, this is not what's going to happen. Instead, he's going to totally create an agricultural collapse in his own nation. It's not the Great Leap Forward, it's the massive collapse backwards. All right, so let's look at how it all goes so very wrong. Well, for one, collectivization of farms is a disaster. It's an assault on the family life of China. And then there's this thing with the quotas. Okay, the quotas. Here's what happens. Provincial governors trying to impress Mao in Beijing are going to compete with one another, promising higher and higher estimates. It's totally unrealistic. No way can they deliver, but they can promise. It gets so wacky that they claim their wheat is growing so thick that kids can walk on top of it. Does that sound bat crap crazy to you? Well, guess what? They did it in these doctored photos. These kids aren't standing on wheat, they're standing on benches behind the wheat. Okay, and here's this other thing, is that Mao basically kills all the sparrows in China. He kills all the sparrows in China because someone convinces him that the sparrows are eating the wheat in the field. The sparrows are not eating the wheat in the field, folks. They're eating the insects who are eating the wheat. And so with all the sparrows gone, there's a massive insect infestation in China, and these insects really start eating all the wheat. Now, if you want to know more about the sparrows, check out our Hoc Histories honors episode, Mao versus the Sparrows. Okay, so with a drought and with an insect infestation, the wheat yield is going to be drastically down. There is, however, some wheat, but there's a problem, the quotas. Remember all those crazy quotas that the provincial governors set to impress Mao in Beijing? Well, no way are they going to be able to meet those quotas. But they're going to try as hard as they can to send as much wheat as possible to Beijing. And this leads to a massive famine, killing up to 45 million Chinese people. People are dying of starvation next to trainloads of wheat that are headed to Beijing. Now, at the same time, Mao's trying to industrialize China to catch up with America. They do a nationwide drive to create steel. Now, before we proceed, check out what an actual steel mill looks like. You need that level of heat to make useful steel. Now, here's the Great Leap Forward's version of a steel mill. Well, surprise, surprise, the steel produced in these backyard furnaces is basically worthless. A mind-blowing amount of metal has been wasted, and essential labor has been pointlessly diverted from work in the fields, worsening the famine. So, in summary, the Great Leap Forward was an ambitious plan to modernize and industrialize China. It ends up leading to a massive agricultural collapse and does nothing to industrialize China. It is a failure of command economies and a failure for the Marxist state of Mao. Oh yeah, and it kills as much as 45 million people. Okay, so we got a Mao-sized double disaster here. Like I said, it's not the Great Leap Forward, it's the massive collapse backwards. It's such a disaster that Mao, is he there? Mao, as powerful as he is, his power is going to be diminished. And then he's going to swim back into Chinese life, crossing the Yangtze River and kicking off the Cultural Revolution, which is not nearly as deadly, as the Great Leap Forward, but somehow is way more annoying. But that's a nutshell we can crack at another time. Check out that honors episode, Mal vs. the Sparrows. It's going to make you look really smart. So, subscription button, best technique is just to grab it, smash it, and get ready to comment. Thanks for joining us here on Hoc Histories. I'm Cody, your teacher, and we'll see you soon.